Welcome to the Smart Thinking Podcast. This is my dad, Ted.
Welcome to the Smart Thinking Podcast. I'm your host, Ted Knightsky. This morning I was watching a bunch of talking heads on ESPN's NFL Sunday, and I heard a former coach make a statement that helped me frame our smart thinking for today. Sunday mornings are the only morning I purposely take a slow start to the day. I always work out and have breakfast in front of the TV watching some sports talk show on ESPN. I don't get to watch a lot of sports, so on Sunday, it's a good time for me to catch up on all the things that had happened this past week and preview if there's anything I might want to watch in the afternoon. And today, the talking heads were rambling on about a player's attitude. I think it's always kind of funny how different talking heads and different news programs pick up on one statement, one phrase, and they just bang on people for something that they had said. Well, they were talking about the selfishness of a player and some comment that the player had made about himself and him wanting more catches or more balls, and they were all going off and arguing about that statement, and as the five sports personalities were blasting away, I was about to turn the TV off when I decided to watch just a little bit more because the coach on the show said something and it was like, He said when the best player is also the best teammate, you have a winning combination, a winning team. He then rattled off a bunch of athletes, and all of those men and women they spoke about were truly remarkable people, and they all had a brand, champion. Which leads me to our smart thinking for this week. What is your brand? You know, your reputation, what people know about you before knowing you, or what they believe about you when they hear your name. And are you a great teammate? Now, this is a serious question because in life there are a few things that we do alone. And when we are all members of a herd, what's your brand within it? Buffalo leadership, as we've defined it over the past 6 seasons on this podcast, is all about charging into the storms that we are facing with optimism, perseverance, and ability to reflect. Cows, of course, take on the role of the pessimist, the soul-sucking, negative procrastinator who works to not work and is trapped in a mindset of being a victim, casting blame upon others and looking for excuses to support their inability to take on the challenges that they face. Whew. 2 brands, buffalo or cow. What type of teammate are you? Who are your teammates and how do they act? And what's the brand of your team and the brands of everyone within that team? Remember that a leader is anyone who has influence over another person, and it is critical for us to be thinking about that all the time. Things like how we enter a room, how we respond to the needs of others, how we support the outcomes of our teammates. A team is dynamic, fun, frustrating, and ultimately engaging when there is a shared purpose. So let's look at the brands of the people on a team. Because I really want you to think about what is your brand, but more importantly, what is a brand? A brand is what you're known for. It is what you are dependent upon for. Now, brands in the commercial space are things that you grow to trust, depend upon, and rely upon. Think about your favorite foods, restaurants, products, and services. When you think about something like, Apple, you immediately get an impression of their products, of their commercials, of their image. An impression formed by 3 things: your experience, your knowledge, and how you've been informed about the brand. Many people in life learn about a brand from other people and your exposure to those brands. Many of us drive the same cars that our parents did. We eat the same peanut butter our mom bought. And many of us wear brands that we rely upon. We eat at restaurants based upon experience, and we make brand decisions all of the time based upon what we hear, what we see, and what we desire. And brand is so important to a company's success that last year, the amount of money spent to ensure you and I understood brands and that we were exposed to new brands was insane. I was blown away when I did the math. I mean, listen to this. These numbers don't even make sense to me when I write them down because I don't know how many zeros there are in a trillion. Okay, last year, $1.56 trillion were spent globally on marketing and advertising products. $1.56 trillion. That means that an average of $192 was spent on every human being on the planet so that you would get exposure to a brand and brands. It's such a big number that it doesn't even register in my own ability to visualize that amount of money. So I dug a little deeper to see if I can make this more relevant for me and you. In the United States last year, $480 billion was spent on marketing and advertising to support brands. That is $1,450 per person spent on advertising. And I mean per person, whether you are a 1-year-old or 101 years old. That feels like a lot. And when you think of all the push ads, commercials, billboards, and flyers you see, as well as brand placement in our entertainment, it is significant. This exercise got me more and more curious about brands and then the spend on brands. So I looked at which brand spends the most per year on building brand awareness. And last year in the United States, well, that was Amazon. They spent $8.1 billion in the U.S., and that means that they spent $18.41 on every person. Now, $480 billion, and the biggest one was $8 billion of that? That's not even that much money when you compare it to the $480 billion, which means that there are millions of people spending money to ensure you understand their brand. Brand awareness, reputation, and a willingness to refer others is critical for the ability to brands to make a difference, for brands to lead. Did you hear that? Brand awareness, reputation, and the willingness of others to promote is critical. How would those prompts be answered about and for you? When others are with you, how do they see you? What is your brand? How much do you spend to build capital for others? What type of a teammate are you when you're building that brand? It's a weird kind of construct to reflect upon yourself as a brand, but it is powerful to think about in the context of building your brand and working on yourself, especially as a teammate, because you should be hyper aware of how you are acting as a leader. Here's a quick story to illustrate. Yesterday, I was standing in 40-degree driving rain watching a college soccer game, and I saw something that moved me to tears. And it was not the horizontal rain. It was my son, number 21, Charlie Knightsky. As the players lined up to be announced, number 21 stood at the front of the line, and one by one, he passed his teammates, shook their hands, and wished them good luck. As he worked his way through the line of 11 starters, a dad bumped me on the shoulder and said, "Hey, Ted, my son appreciates your son's leadership. Look at him out there." Charlie is a senior, and he plays, but he doesn't start. And as a senior, his coach made him a captain because of his leadership for his teammates. And when the dad bumped me, my eyes welled up because I was really proud of number 21, my young Buffalo who accepted his role and defined it for himself. He is the first to run over when a player is called to sub in and fire them up. And when a player comes off the field, number 21 is the first to greet them, congratulate, or console them. No one likes to be pulled from a game, and no one likes to be on the bench. But 21 works the line, he cheers loudest, and he's optimistic. And when he gets in the game, he maintains that. That's his brand. After the game, we were out to dinner with parents and players, and another parent came up to me and put his hand on my shoulder, clearly violating my no hugging or touching policy. And he said, "Hey, look at that kid." He pointed over to number 21. "You got a leader over there." Then a teammate came up to me a little while later and said, "Hey, Mr. Knightsky," and he pointed to my son and said, "At halftime, we got ripped into pretty good about our play. And as soon as the coach was out of the locker room, Charlie was the first to flip the narrative and get us believing we could get it. We could get into it, and we could win the match." I like that brand, and I like that type of teammate. And I love that young man. But he built his own brand, and I'm excited for him to grow as a leader and a teacher in the near future. How would the world around you describe your brand? Would others want to buy it? Would others promote it? Would others want to be like you? Would others point you out to other people to say, "Look at that person, watch them, and learn from them"? In a world with limited engagement in the workplace, frequent burnout, and mass resignations, are we working on ourselves or are we expecting others to do it for us? Buffaloes, we work on ourselves. We don't wait. We got a brand, and it annoys a lot of people. But in the absence of speaking about building capacity or having those conversations, how can we build ourselves a great team? Well, I believe it is time to get people reflecting upon their brand and the impact that it has on your team. Team. A team is people you love, people you work with, and people you hang with, family, colleagues, and friends. How would they describe your brand? I have a few more reflections for you as a teammate, and they are from the mindset of positivity. We all know the qualities of a PIA teammate, and I don't have the energy to figure out intentional pessimism anymore. But let's create the conversation around 5 different types of brands and teammates. And I want you to listen and reflect upon which role you are known as, and hopefully more than just one. Assuming you are taking on a mindset of leadership and are conscious of your influence and impact, I want you to think about these brands of teammates: captain, therapist, cheerleader, nurse, and detective. When I reflect upon the greatest brands on a team, these are my 5. You may have others, and I'd love for you to send me a note to describe them, because I'm not the smartest guy in the room. I'm just the guy with a podcast. So let's take a look at these brands. Captain. When your brand is captain, people look to you for specific things like development, motivation, clarity, support in growing, and belief. Captains look at others as an opportunity to build them, support them, tell them hard truths, and drive their success so that the people on their team can be the best versions of themselves. Captains, they motivate others by instilling in them a belief that it can be done, that there is nothing that cannot be overcome, and that the only obstacle we face are those ones we place there or refuse to overcome. Buffalo captains, well, they motivate you to run into the storm when every part of your mind and heart are screaming to run away. Now, they do that well. And how do they do it? Well, they run next to you when you need a challenge, behind you when you need a nudge, and in front of you when you need to see how to take the risk. Well, that's a pretty great brand. Another great brand is the cheerleader. When your brand is that of a cheerleader, you can be depended upon to maintain the optimistic energy everyone needs in order to keep us all going. You have a genuine loyalty and a selfless desire to put yourself out there and advocate for your teammates. A cheerleader stands in front of those who don't believe, who won't believe, and they stand up for their teammates. They're loyal. They drive a strong and loud message of hope, and they ensure everyone knows who we are and what we want to do. They are energetic, and even when the odds are against us and it seems that we're bound for failure, you look over and they have a smile on their face, standing in a pose of confidence. Their emotions and motivations inspire us to move, and they never, ever quit on us. Therapist. The therapist brand is one of my favorites and one I always need. They are really great at listening. They are curious in a genuine manner. They ask reflective questions that guide you to be better. They care deeply for your success, and you can always go to them for whatever it is you need. They hear you for the person you are, have no judgment, and guide you to think deeply about what you have going on and where you might be going. Therapists as a brand are unique because the benefit of the brand is solely for you. They are always inquiring about you, your leadership, your well-being, and your success. However, they are also very candid. They will tell you what you need to hear. No, they won't. They will not tell you what you need to hear. Well, actually, they will, because what they will tell you is the truth, not what you wanted to hear, but their ability is to hold up a mirror in front of you to show you your realities and make you better. They're not afraid of you or your feelings, quite the opposite. They will engage them, feed off of your emotions, and push you. They're a great teammate, and that's a great brand. The nurse. The nurse brand is one that is your empathy teammate. They're always wondering about you, how you are moving through life, your work, your days. They have a feel about them, a presence. Their wonderings about you are genuine and caring. They check in on you randomly. They notice when you're not doing or feeling well in body, heart, or mind. They have an instinctive way of noticing that you're doing well or not so well. And they look for signs that they seem to be able to notice that no one else has been able to figure out, because it's almost like they're trained to notice. They notice your energy and they call it out to you and celebrate when it is strong and worry when it's low. They're first to check you out and the first to check you in. And as a result of this brand, you have high trust in them, and we have high trust for them. And we will disclose things to them that you would not otherwise share with other people. You'll ask them questions, and you'll feel vulnerable in their presence, but it's a brand, because it's a brand of safety, trust, care, concern, and love. It's the brand that makes it okay to not be okay. Now, the last one here, the detective. This brand is the one we all need in our lives and on our team. Why? Exactly. They ask that question a lot. They are inquisitive, not questioning you or your intentions, instead questioning your processes, your purposes, and your methods. They are not mean-spirited in any way. Instead, they are trained to inquire for your benefit. They ask great questions like, have you considered? Did you check with? They know your tendencies and they inquire to proactively protect you from yourself and self-destruction. Not only do they check and investigate, they are also the most likely to protect you from things you may not have yet considered or you often ignore. Many times they ask you a question with a little chagrin on their face, knowing you've unintentionally or intentionally skipped the step, and they know their role. And their role is to ask you questions, to get you thinking, to make sure that you have thought through everything, just like a detective. Brand. What's yours? What's yours on your team? Gallup, in their newest research, learned that if you and I are at the highest levels of engagement when we have a meaningful interaction or conversation with someone frequently. As a team, this is critical. All of the brands I identified would be people who you'd want to promote amongst others, that you would go back to with frequency, that you would want at the ready. They're all great brands. So now, reflect upon this question. What's your brand? What role do you play for others on a team? Are you a great teammate? Do people promote you? Do people want you? And if not, why not? And if so, how so? Be reflective. Think of which one you are. What is your brand? My final reflection for you to help you decide what your brand is this. How are you described by others if you're not in the room? Now, if you don't know that, start thinking about it. I would assume if you're a smart thinker, it's pretty good. I doubt there are too many pessimists who subscribe and listen to my obnoxious optimism every week. So this week, let's think about our brand. Think about the brand of others and be the best teammate for everyone around you. So let's do some smart thinking. Describe your favorite teammate's brand. List the qualities of your brand and describe how your teammates describe your brand to others. That's it. That's the Smart Thinking Podcast. Hey, as always, thank you for listening, and please make sure to rate and share this episode with others to help me help them grow in their leadership and focus on being a great teammate and building their brand. Also, thank you to the Well Pennies for their great music. Please make sure to follow them on your musical platform and look for their new music that's supposed to be coming out here in the next couple of months. And finally, I want to share with you that this past year I had the privilege of sitting through a brand audit, and it was very interesting to see how other people described the brand that we were exploring. When we finished, I was very impressed that the majority of people described the brand the way I saw it, and the experience got me thinking about us as individuals and how our teams are viewed. This week, grow in yourself and awareness of your brand. I first became aware of my brand when I was in my first year of teaching. It happened when I was at parent-teacher conferences, and parents were coming up to me, and we were discussing their children and their performance in my classroom. About every second or third parent, they would tell me some story of something I had done or said, and it started to freak me out. Because as a kid, I had no empathy for this. I never spoke about school at the dinner table. Very intentionally, by the way. But I was really shook that night when I went home after my parent-teacher conferences, because it was the first time in my life that I realized that my actions had impact, like big time, that I had influence and I was a leader, and that I was spoken about every single night at a dinner table somewhere in the community in which I taught. It changed me for the better, made me a little paranoid, and I'm hoping this reflection gets you thinking about your brand, because every day, someone you interacted with is thinking about or talking about you, and my hope is that they'll describe you as an intentional leader with a very positive brand, an optimistic brand that never quits on them or others.
Hey, put the world away, fight a little longer until you feel okay, 'cause there's nothing I can do when everything's the matter and there's no one left like you. Wait for the sunlight. Love or leave, what life would I lose? Ooh la la, ooh la 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 la. Don't you wanna feel it too? Heal your heart with rhythm and blues. Ooh la la, ooh la 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 la. hopes, honey in the air, a melody around you when no one else is there. Wait for the sunlight. Love or leave, what life would I lose? Ooh la la, ooh la 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 la. Don't you wanna feel it too? And heal your heart with rhythm and blues. Ooh la la, ooh la 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 la. Don't you wanna feel it too? Ooh la la, ooh la 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 la. Don't you wanna feel it too? So I've been learning as I go. There are 100 more I know, and I wanna close my eyes and wait for the sunlight. Love or leave, what life would I lose? Ooh la la, ooh la 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 la. Don't you wanna feel it too? And heal your heart with rhythm and blues. Ooh la la, ooh la 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 la. Don't you wanna feel it too? Love or leave, what life would I lose? Ooh la la, ooh la 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 la. Don't you wanna feel it too? And heal your heart with rhythm and blues. Ooh la la, ooh la 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 la. Don't you wanna feel it too? Ooh la la, ooh la 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 la. Don't you wanna feel it too? Ooh la la, ooh la 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 la. Don't you wanna feel it too?